You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 175, Systemizing Chaos and Prioritizing Projects to Maximize Growth, an entrepreneurial case study with Jason Long and Santiago Arroyo. If you're a business owner who wants to improve your time management and elevate your productivity so you can maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. I'm looking forward to this entrepreneurial case study with our guests, Jason and Santi. Jason and Santi are actually clients of mine and have been clients of mine for about a year. And I'm going to read to you their official bio, but I got to tell you, Jason and Santi are just amazing humans, and I find it so fascinating in what their day-to-day business is and what it looks like. So Jason and Santi are organic farmers in South Florida. And today you're going to hear me talking to them about their journey of what did it look like before they got into business, when they started business, in the middle of business, and where is it that they see taking their business in the next 5 to 10 years as organic farmers in South Florida. We also talk about some of the things that we've worked on together and why did they even decide they needed a productivity and time management coach? And once they decided, what was it that they worked on and how has that affected their business and business growth? So stay tuned as we uncover and share the story and behind the scenes of how Jason and Santi have grown Tree Amigos Growers. Jason Long believes everyone deserves access to fresh food as a basic human right. By co-founding Tree Amigos Growers plant nursery in 2016, he lives up to this notion by empowering communities within South Florida bioregion to create their own food systems. Through the experiences of managing small organic farms since 2011, he understands the two major disconnects of South Florida's ability to become food independent. Access to land due to urban sprawl and the limited local knowledge to organic gardening. Combine this with a passion for teaching, his dedication to problem solving, and his joy of storytelling, he became determined to make organic gardening easy, help others to reimagine access to land, and provide the support it takes to be successful in growing their own food. After all, real independence begins when you can control your own food system. And Santiago was born in Quito, Ecuador, and has been farming professionally in South Florida for 8 years. His journey started with the great advice of his best friend David and an introduction to permaculture. Soon after, he became co-creator of Tree Hugger Organic Farms in Davie, Florida. Currently, as co-owner of Tree Amigos Growers, Santi is dedicated to the development of a strong local food system, one backyard grower at a time. He values integrity, focused dedication, and a passion for growing food. When he is not working, you can find Santi at home loving his life with his wife Carmen and 2-year-old son Felix. Before we dive in, I want to share with you a few ways that you can work with me. Now, you may have been a longtime listener or you're new to Productivity Straight Talk, but I am here to help you improve your time management and elevate your productivity. So here are some ways you can do that. You can go and grab my on-demand 4-module training, Time Management Made Simple program. You can check it out, learn more, and grab it at amberdelagarza.com/time. And perhaps email is the bane of your existence. I hear you. I got you. I have taught this training to hundreds of business owners with 70 emails up to 70,000 emails in their inbox. It is my simple step-by-step framework to get you out of overwhelm and out of your inbox. And you can check that out and grab it by going to amberdelagarza.com/conquer your email. And lastly, you may be wondering, how do I work with Amber one-on-one? What would that be like? Am I ready for it? I want you to head on over to amberdelagarza.com/coaching to learn all about my one-on-one peak performance coaching program. And if you think that that may be a fit for you, I would love for you to schedule a discovery call. And on that discovery call, we are just going to chat. I'm going to learn about you, where you want to go, what are some of your current challenges, and if I think I can help you get there faster and more effectively, I will share with you how I think I can do that. And if you love it, then we will move forward and work together. It is literally that simple. So make sure that if you are interested in working with me on a one-on-one capacity, that you schedule a discovery call. And you can do that over at amberdelagarza.com/call. And I look forward to talking to you soon. And now, let's get to the straight talk. Welcome, Jason and Santi, to Productivity Straight Talk. But it seems a little weird just saying welcome to Productivity Straight Talk because we go way back. How are you guys today?
Awesome. What's up, Amber? How are you?
I am great.
Doing amazing over here.
I know. So look, our listeners don't get to see what I see, but as clients of mine, I usually get to see some epic views when we're zooming in and you guys are coming in from the farm. I'm like, hold on, we can't start. Let me look at what the scenery is behind you guys, because you guys are generally calling in on Zoom from the farm, which you are today as well, right?
Yep, we're live on the farm.
Okay, awesome. So I did do a formal intro, which is always great to kind of tee up the episode. But I would like to start off by handing it over to you two and sharing a bit about your business in your own words. And then we'll start from there. So what is it that you two do in Florida?
We help people to create their own food systems down here. And we do that by making organic gardening easy. So like one-on-one, the home gardeners, people that don't know how to grow anything, we take plant neglectors and turn them into food system creating green thumbers.
Yes. And okay, so and how do you do that? So what is it that you actually sell and serve your clients to, Santi?
What we do is we sell anything that helps your organic gardening thrive. So anything from soil to plants, pest control, and anything that really helps those gardeners have a successful crop in the season.
Okay, awesome. So look, I often get asked, like, do you know my industry? Can you really help me? And if y'all would have asked me, look, I kill everything. It's a running joke in my house. Like, there's nothing that lives that's green. But I have been able to help you a bit because you guys came to me for productivity and time management, not how to grow stuff. That's your zone of genius, right?
Yep.
Why is productivity and time management important? And I'm kind of asking, like, where are you going in your business? Like, I want to know if you're a organic farmer now and you help your clients, why was productivity and time management important?
There's never enough hours in the day. As farmers, our sole job is to create food from or help it grow from seed, right? So nature has its own timeline. And many times we have to kind of bend towards nature's timeline. But there are so many things and projects, as you know, how many lists of projects we do with you. There are tons of things around that we can control. And those are the things that we needed some help with because we were literally writing whole books with the amount of stuff that we needed to do and not getting any of it done.
Yes. So, and the things that you quote unquote needed to do are the things you wanted to do because y'all have big dreams, right? Like you guys are taking your business to the next level. So before we share with our listeners that, I want to go back to your origin story. How did you guys meet and how did you guys start your business?
Ooh, the good old days.
Yeah. So how long have you been in business? Let's start there.
Tree Amigos, we started in 2016. Santiago and I have been working together, managing organic farms since about 2011 together. That's when we first met.
Okay. And when y'all first met along the time, and then what was the thing that started that said, we should get into business together? What was that turning point?
seeing the problems in South Florida of how one farm owner sells the farmland, the farmer's got to find a new spot. Another farm owner sells the farmland, the farmer's got to find a new spot. Seeing how in South Florida, not enough people know how to grow their own organic food. So we looked at those two problems. We're like, man, we start farms, we resolve farm problems. Let's stop trying to sell people food and let's start teaching people how to grow their own food instead. Win-win.
So you're in the business of empowering people, right? With not just knowledge, but resources to grow their own food.
Check this out. Real independence will never happen unless you're in control of your own food systems. And that's what Tree Amigos is all about. And so that's why productivity is so important for us. The more time we have, the more people we can connect to. Because, we don't just give you plants to say, leave us alone. Like, you call us for support. All of our gardeners are like you, Amber. Like, they kill everything. Like, the running joke is they have a black thumb. And I'm like, this is the cleanest my thumb's been in months. You can't see it. It's not covered in dirt right now. And it's just so important to make sure people have the skills to grow their own food.
Okay, so this business really came from a desire to really want to help others in their mission to be independent food independent, right? That's how you guys say it. Yeah. Okay, great. So you guys were friends, you guys worked together. Why did you get in business together? And this is an intriguing question for those that listen, because partnerships can be so fun, so interesting, and so challenging all in the same, right? So why did you two decide to go into business together?
Before Santi takes us over, I just want to add, we were also living together at the same time when we did this as well.
Oh, okay. Back in 2016.
16.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Santi. So why did you two decide that you were going to be business partners?
I think it was a very natural process. I think it was not even a question if should we do this together. It was like, yo, what are we doing? So like he's saying, our partners and ours, we're living together. So Carmen and I, him and his partner Paulo, were living in the same household. And every time we would go to work together, we would come back and then, handle our own stuff at the house. And then at the end of the night, we would just get together to just brainstorm ideas and talk, just have conversations about what we were envisioning. But I don't think there was ever a question of like, who should we do this with? It was always like, yo, we've worked together for 8 or more years. And more than anybody else, I love all the people that I've been able to work with, but more than anybody else, I think with Jay, I've been able to really get things done. And a lot of the times, I think we both kind of have a little bit of a humility to know when we don't know something. And that's extremely important to me, because I wouldn't be able to do this with somebody who just knows everything and tells me, that they have the best idea all the time.
Right. I got to say, as your coach, I did not know that you guys lived together. But I do know how you treat each other, and it's like family. You guys absolutely prioritize your personal lives and professional lives together. And to see you guys talk things out, it's like two brothers kind of going at it from different perspectives and different opinions. And then you guys always hold in the center what the goal is, which is to serve your clients and grow the business. And I find that very, very interesting. Now, when you guys started in 2016 and you decided to be partners, did you know that you were so different and brought so many different skill sets to the business at that time? Or did that happen over time that you realized each of you have your own strengths?
I think for me, no, I knew we had different strengths. And that's one of the things I love about working with Santiago is I would never want to work with someone that matches my strengths, but I'd love someone to challenge my strengths. So I can, back then it was like, okay, how can I do better? Like Santiago is doing these great things. We got a project, Santiago's focused. He's executing really well. How can I do that? And then as time goes on, we just both found our sweet spots and been able to count on each other like, okay, this is your specialty. You hit this and run with this.
Right. So right now in the business, can you share what each of your roles are primarily in the business? And Santi, we'll start with you.
The primary role in the business is operations, including the supply chain and also the production of plants and everything needed that we need on the sales floor.
Okay, excellent. So you are the one that is primarily responsible for the product that gets delivered to the clients. And Jason, what is your primary role in how you serve the business?
So over the years, we've worn multiple hats. Now I've taken on just naturally fell into the sales and marketing side of it, as well as onboarding leadership. So I love being able to tell stories about the plants and about the products and all those things that we offer. I love being able to help people to know what they need in order to make their garden grow. So I've kind of naturally fell into the sales and marketing side of it. And that's why I now lead that team.
Okay, excellent. So both of you referenced a team. So can one of you share what your current team looks like now after being in business for 4 years?
I would love to. Yeah, when we say team, I mean, so we're just completed year 4, and it started off with Santiago and I working nonstop. Then we added someone else to the team, and it was 3 of us. Now we're at 5 people on our team. It's still a small team. We do a ton of work, and honestly, it's a family business. So I was adopted into this family. At least that's what I was told. Both, like, one of Santi's siblings works with us, and Santi's father as well works with us here. And it's kind of a dream team. Like, Santi's father comes and brings in serious skill sets from his old career, and his sibling brings in amazing skill sets to help us out as well. So, like, over the years, like, us struggling and working really hard, we have these people to fit in the roles. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now.
Yeah. And what I find interesting is while it is a family business, you all knew what roles needed to be filled, and it happened to be that family could fill it. It wasn't the other way around. Like, the 2 roles that Santi's dad and brother came in for are roles that were really, really needed to take your business to the next level for your goals. And I find that to be so such a blessing, really. Like, every time they've ever come on to any calls that we've had, and to know how they are helping each of you take the business to the next level has been great to watch. So when you first started 4 years ago and you guys started a partnership, and it was 2, and then it was 3, and now it's 5. And along the way, we started working together. What was it? What were some of the challenges that you were experiencing that you have overcome or are still overcoming to get your business to where you want it to be, to make the impact you want in your community?
That's a really great question. One of the biggest obstacles that I saw, like you again, and it's not just because it's your podcast, but time management and along land security, which was the biggest early on in the creation of Tree Amigos. But time management, because like Jason said, we always wore many hats, and Jason and I were always both everything, right? So there was a lot of crossover. There was a lot of I would say lack of clarity and communication, just because there was a lot of overlap happening. But even though that happened, we still kept moving forward, and there wasn't a lot of headbutting happening. It was just, oh, cool, you did that already? Oh, I just started this. Okay, I'll just finish that. Let me do something else. But there was never defined roles. So I think that the biggest obstacle was always just to make sure that we are finding our strengths and exploiting them, or making the best use of those strengths, instead of just going all over the place and without a plan.
Yes. Okay, Santi, that is a great example. So when we first started working together as co-partners, there wasn't definitive, I do this and lead in this area, and I do that and I lead in that area. And since then, we have been able to really identify not just where your natural skill sets are, but like, what do you really enjoy doing in the business? And, I invited each of you to double down in those areas so that you knew who was leading in each of the areas, and then where you came together to lead together, which would be, leading towards getting clarity about where you're going next in the business, but also leading your team, which was the next thing. So once y'all figured out how to lead each other in each of the roles, now who's leading the team that also wears multiple hats. And so then I feel like we did it again, where we're like, okay, we have the team. What are their primary roles, and who's responsible for leading them when they're working in that particular role?
As a small team, we're always wearing multiple hats, even though as we start to reduce them, it's just like there is a lot of crisscross in our operation. And the only reason why this worked for us in the beginning is because Santiago and I have always worked like that. We've always trusted and depended on each other. So we just know we can get things done. And that's why I think as a partnership operation, it was never stepping on the toes that, okay, you got these plants done. Okay, you started this project, because we just depended on each other and it freed us up. But since working with you and being able to have that ability to see where our strengths are and what we're working in, it's so easy. Like right now, Santi's able to focus on production while I'm getting our sales ramped up to get these new plants he's got coming to us. And it's just like, it's synced up. And then also really big things you're helping us with is project management. Oh my God. Are we not a team, Santi, that just dreams of a million things to do?
I mean, yeah, every day, every minute, we're always coming up with new things. Yep.
Yes. And so one of the things we've worked on is the practice of constraint, right? And I think that every business owner, whether they're a business owner or partnership, can understand where you are at, where you're like, we are dreaming so big. We have so many ideas of what it is that we can do. We just need to prioritize the projects and the time so that we can get them to the finish line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been a big challenge for me, specifically for me, because I do have a background in, like, you know, I love music and I played music. So I kind of have, I would say, a self-prescribed artist mentality where I like things to I like to create from chaos. And I see that it's very valuable in every aspect of my life, but it can only go so far when you're trying to, you know, run a specific business and do things that are consistent and, like he said, something that we can depend on. And that's been really hard for me to let go of that aspect of myself. But with the time management rules and the time management exercises that you provided, it's kind of given me a little bit more of a discipline, you know, that I've probably lacked in the past.
Right.
Santi loves chaos. He does. And he does so well.
I really do.
That's the truth.
Okay, so I actually think that there's a lot of people that would be shaking their head or raising their hand saying, I love it, but like hate it. Like that's my reality. I find myself creating it. But in deep down, I kind of know that it could be different. So Santi, I'd love to go a little bit deeper in that. So when you say that you love the chaos, what was that turning point where you said, I love it, I feel like I can create from it, it's what was your normal, but something had to have happened where you said, but that's not going to help me get my team and my business to the next level. Can you share what your thoughts were around that to make you make the decision to work on less chaos?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely be very clear about that. It's the time when we started onboarding people, and I saw that I could fly, but I couldn't make other people fly. You know what I'm saying? So, or help other people fly. And because my thoughts and ideas weren't pre-organized to the point where I can say, look, these are the basics, start here, and let's go from there. It was always like, okay, where are we at? Oh, look, the sun is shining. Let's do this. You know, it's like, yeah. So it's something that I love about myself, but also I can see that that restraint is very useful in that point, because I need to have a specific goal to accomplish that day, and I won't have it accomplished if my focus is on trying to create from whatever mess is happening at the time. And when I saw the onboarding process happening, I'm like, whoa, I'm not ready to onboard people and have them take over my job. It's more of like, I can do my job really well, but I want to make sure that everybody in the team can do their jobs really well. And that's kind of been a really good turning point for me to say, okay, how can I do this so that I can start transmitting that information and not just keeping it all to myself?
Right. I mean, I could imagine the conversations in your own head when it was just you could negotiate and kind of have those chaos conversations and still get the job done. But then when you had to verbalize what they actually needed to do and how to do it, it probably confused them a little bit.
It confused everybody. Like, okay, water that tray because, you know, it's kind of shiny, but it's not really dark yet, but that one is kind of dark. So, you know, like, I can hold all that in my head because I see it as painting, you know, like I'm painting a picture and I'm like, oh, look at this. That's a great way to self-actualize, but it's not a good way for people to come in and do their job easily. It creates confusion and it's just like, what the heck am I getting into?
Right.
But that's the way that Santiago and I work really well together. He can say, oh, hit that tray because it's kind of shiny, not really shiny, partly dark. And I already know what he's talking about. He just point over there and it's just that synced up. So like being able to work with chaos, like as farmers, it's kind of, I think it's something that farmers are just able to do because look, you get crop failures, you get pests that come through, you have crazy seasons. There's so much things you're always jumping through. So changing from like producing field crops that being able to assist more people to grow their food is kind of when we both had to shake that whole like just flowing with it, working with a background crop plan, but executing whatever came our way.
Right. So very adaptable, but through being creative with solutions has probably served you all well over the years.
Oh, 100%.
That's why we are where we are right now, hands down. If it wasn't for that, I don't think we'd be where we're at.
Yeah. So, it's hard work. So you guys could have been partners and you guys could have like plugged along, but because your dreams were so big, there was a point where you looked at each other and said, this is too many hats. Like, I want more balance in my life. My partners miss me. Santi, you have a young son. And so there was at one point where you said, it's worth the hard work of figuring out how to expand what you're doing by bringing on people, hiring, and building your team. Can you share with us some lessons that you've learned on going from partnership to a team of 5 that that you would like to share with our listeners that you're like, man, if I could shorten that learning curve, here's a couple of tips I have for you.
Okay, this is a tough one to answer right off the bat. I will add in. Okay, so something that's really helped us to shorten that is that even though we've been working within chaos, we've been systemizing the chaos over the years. So we have background work. It's like we're always thinking, how can we make this? Because we're farmers. We're all about efficiencies, mechanization, right? Because you're dealing with competing with grocery market prices on small farms in South Florida with high values of land. So we're always trying to make everything more efficient. So I think the fact that we've been able to even though there was chaos, we've been able to in the background systemize everything. It's been really easy to create an onboarding process to get people into the play, at least in my head.
Right. You did. You guys actually came to me with quite a few systems and processes. And I would say that some of what we've worked on is how to ensure you're consistently using those systems and processes and keeping them updated. Because it's definitely one thing to have them and create them and another to make it part of your everyday work.
Absolute facts. We're still blowing dust off many of them, but at least they're there.
That's right. They are there. Yeah. And I love that. And when you're blowing dust off of them and bringing them back into the fold, it is what I think not a lot of people talk about is it's a new behavior change. It's a new habit change. It's changing the culture of your team of saying, we don't now haphazardly do this and just show up and be reactive to the day. Like we want to purposely have a plan and we want to do it in a way that's consistent. Because if you guys have turnover and you have in the past, you wanted to have a way that you knew that you could deliver with consistency to your clients, right? And what that experience looks like.
This also reminds me of one more thing. In addition to that, it's also realizing how explaining the why is the most important part to all of it. Not the what, not the how, but the why. Because Santiago and I wake up every day knowing what we're doing. And, we brought on a bigger team to help reduce ourselves to the work, help ourselves grow, help spend more time with our families. But we also saw it was an injustice to our community to not be able to provide more people the support we're giving because everyone deserves to grow their own food if they choose to. And so if we didn't bring on a team, we're bottlenecks. And so it's way different to say, okay, like Santi said, right? Water this tray because this tray needs water. Rather than tie to the why, it's really important that we water our plants when their plants look like this, because if we water them in a different way, what's going to happen is the root growth won't be as well. And if the root growth won't be as well, when the customer goes and takes their plant to the garden, the plant's not going to grow as well. So the reason why watering is the most important part is because it's the basis to the life of the plants. And once the crew knows that, they say, oh my God, I got to really be on point with this. And I understand why I'm doing this. I understand why I'm bagging 300 bags of soil, which equals to like 20 yards of soil by hand manually every week, is because that just created another 10,000 square feet in gardens. And then that why is what encouraged us to do this hard work. I mean, it's hot in South Florida. It's sweaty. It's grimy. Most people live in ACs every single day. It's like you're in a swamp. So it's like, it takes a big encouragement to want to do it. It's not for everyone.
Right. I love because you two both definitely have your driving force, your why. And it's been great to see you enroll others into that dream. And I am a big believer too that if you tell someone to water something in your example and they don't feel like it and they're kind of like, yeah, okay, I know how to do it. But if you told them the big why, and the why is that the client will have X experience and that affects their experience of having success and planting in their gardens at home. Now it's not as easy to just be like, well, I just didn't feel like doing it. Now they're like, I really know why this makes an impact for our clients.
Yeah, and that's part of what we've carried over from our last project, which was organic farm, Tree Hugger Farms, and that building community. Like it's not just about what's good for you or good for the person closest to you, but the community as a whole. Like if you can make sure that this gets done because it's going to benefit everybody else down the line, then you are held accountable. If you're doing this just because you feel like it, then there's no accountability. And holding each other accountable has really helped us grow as people, as business people, as as humans. Is that accountability aspect is in a community is one of the most important things.
Great. So I want to go in a different direction. You guys talked about the power of adapting and overcoming. And the pandemic did not miss an opportunity for you guys to learn to adapt and overcome, right?
Oh, yeah.
So can you share with us, what a typical day looked like pre-pandemic and how you served your clients and what your business model looked like? And then share with us what changes you have made during the pandemic and what you plan to do moving forward, because there's a lot to unpack here.
Santi, do you want to take this one or do you want me to?
I'll take the pre-pandemic days, I would say.
Okay, cool. See, this is how we work as a team. We check in with each other if the role's not clear.
So pre-pandemic, I would say our day was typically, bagging soil, doing those things that we do every day, seeing customers as they show up, and making sure that everybody gets all their answers, their questions answered. So whether it be about what type of soil they need or about what plant this is or how much fertilizer to use or what fertilizer is, just basic questions, to help people build their gardens and their organic food systems. But it was a very, I would say, inconsistent, kind of customer base. We would get, we had certain days that were busier than others, but we can never know exactly how many customers would drive by in a certain day. And like I said, everything stops for the customer. So if we were bagging soil, everything stops, help the customer. Okay, go back to that task after the customer leaves, and so on and so forth. And then right before the pandemic hit, we kind of started switching up our marketing towards more online marketing. So not necessarily sales, but just like information. If you want to learn how to grow gardens, check this out. Here are some tips. So just kind of getting our feet wet with the online marketing and online presence, thing. And then Jason can tell you more about what happened after that.
Yeah. So like Santi said, it was gardeners would come in, would stop everything. And it's not just like, I mentioned this before, we're not here just to give you a plant. We're here to teach you everything about that plant. So it was like, we stopped and you got our full attention. Sometimes it's like feeling like you're flipping like 25 pancakes when there's 12 people in there and they're asking questions. And then you get to see the gardeners interacting with each other. Like, oh, I had this problem last season and this is what they taught me and it worked. And so our gardeners start teaching other people how to do this, right? So we actually were like, man, forget online. Let's create more hands-on experiences. In the gardening world, everyone learns from YouTube and this. And so we started free classes on Saturday to engage people to come out, because when people came out and we taught them stuff, it was one way for us to help them create their food systems. And that's how we make our sales and our living. And so we did this whole like, forget online, come here and engage with us face-to-face and let's do hands-on experiences. And then but like Santi said, that's when we were marketing online too. We gave all our engagement to our gardeners online. It was like the loop to get them from there to here. Then the pandemic hit, and like, luckily, right? So we have engaging customers through our social media. We got them to our email list so we can communicate to them and give them better tips. Cause like, we're not like selling online. We're not saying buy this, like some cheesy infomercial. We're just teaching you about it. And when you learn about it, now you know how to use it and you're going to come and get it. And so we had all these gardeners, luckily, on our email list, on social media. The pandemic hit, and like, mind you, we're in a business that helps to protect your livelihood. When the pandemic hit, everyone felt as if it was game over for them. Like, we're going down in flames, we're going lockdown. How am I going to get food? I need food. I need a garden. Oh my God, I don't know how to garden. What am I going to do? And we just blew up. And like, it was on a Sunday. Santi used to handle Sundays on his own, I believe. And I would handle a different day that we're open on my own. Man, there was over 30 people in the greenhouse with them trying to ask questions, and like families and like trying to get stuff. And like I said, we're not that, like, we didn't have like amazing signs. Like, you go into a place and you can see everything. We were hands-on, face to face with you. So he's like, oh, this is that, this does this, flipping around. And on that one day, like, it was like, okay, because in our county, we watched the numbers double from 1 to 3 to 7 to like, I think we were at like 18 cases on that day. And we knew like, it's growing rapid here, we need to shut down. So that was a Sunday. Fast forward a couple of days later is Wednesday, is going to be the day when we open back up. That Sunday, on Monday, I went and was able to create an online shop instantaneously. Maybe it was even Tuesday. I remember talking with Amber, like, what are we going to do? Because actually we were in this whole process of building an online shop with you, Amber. Do you remember that?
Yes. And it like immediately got bumped to the top and prioritized, because we're asking what's next? Like, how do we prepare? This happens so fast. How do you prepare?
Yeah. And you would ask us like, what's the path of least resistance? Is this the closest to the dollar? And we're like, no, we don't really need the online shop now, but we want it for fall of 2020, right? And it's like, okay, let's put it on the bottom of the pile. Because mind you, this pile is huge. You know, you got to dig to find the things that we want to do. And so all of a sudden it was like, quick, adapt. Like, how are we going to, maybe we're going to send out emails or links to people buy stuff, let them know. Because we decided no more shopping. The change of seasons were coming. South Florida, March is kind of like the end of your planting seasons. April is changing. We're reversing the rest of the country. And so we're like, okay, we're going to lose thousands of plants because we're going to close down sales. And we're not going to be able to sell these when we open back up once we make ourselves more safer and figure out what the heck is going on. We have vulnerable people in our life. So this hit home to us that we saw like our community. If we're here for community, we have to do the best we can. And so we're ready to close down, lose a bunch of plants, deal with the loss. And we said, okay, let's create this online shop. And luckily we had a platform. We were able to create it in 24 hours because we were building it in the background the whole time with you, Amber. And then because you were helping us like focus on, you know, we created our systems for emails and everything, but you made sure I prioritized sending emails out. We sent out one email to our gardeners just saying, hey, we're closing down, online orders only. The next Sunday, we're going to be no more, nothing else is happening. If you want stuff, come and get it. We didn't do social media or nothing, just straight emails. By the end of, and it wasn't like you're coming and picking things out. We made a box of plants. We sold out by that weekend. We were like, what happened to everything? Oh my God, we had nothing left. So we closed down and didn't lose anything. And that we closed down for 2 months to get ourselves prepared and to get the new crop going.
Yes. So, and as frantic as it seems, like we were having conversations of what are the assets in your business? So your email list was assets. You had an amazing community. There was a demand, and you had the product that if we couldn't figure out a way to get it in their hands in a safe way, you guys were going to lose a lot of money. And that really wasn't an option. I love that you did share. That is one of my favorite phrases, is what's path of least resistance and what's closest to the dollar. Those two questions, they get a sneak peek behind the scenes, is those two questions will drive you to help you prioritize projects. Because there's a lot of things we could be investing our time in and doing and dreaming of. But let's go with path of least resistance first, and making sure that it's actually going to affect your overall goal, which is profitability in the business.
And so that is how we made that pivot. And we ask ourselves, you know, like, what would Amber say? Like, what's the path of least resistance? Like when we're in because we're always constantly dreaming stuff up, and we meet without you, you know, we meet with you monthly. And so we're meeting on the days we're not meeting with you. And because we have that now in our language, we were able to pivot. We created an online shop. We planted over like 8,000 plants of like big, large plants. Did everything online, got ready to do online sales. We announced to our gardeners, we kept in contact with them. We're not going to be open up for normal walkarounds. We are an essential business, technically. We were allowed to stay open, but we're like, heck no, this is not worth risking everyone. So we did online shopping only. We're like, whatever, we're probably going to lose sales. Like, who wants to buy plants online? And let me tell you, we opened up 2 months later for doing pre-sales, getting everyone pumped up, everyone excited. When's it going to happen? This is the day, only special for email lists. We launched it, and here we are today. We're in October. We're still only doing online sales. We're not even looking at doing walkarounds here because we're in South Florida, and it's kind of sketchy business with the pandemic around here. It's still spreading, and because we were able to set up our systems, because we're able to see the path of least resistance, our business stay alive. Our business is helping people, and we have not risked ourselves or anyone in our community to keep our business going.
Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. You know, I love that we're actually able to go backwards and kind of review this together. You know, that's the power of doubling down and having focus. So it took a pandemic to kind of clear all those other projects and for you guys to really be like, we're going online, right? And now you had the time, but also the focus. And this is now an asset that's a project that you took to the finish line. And I will just let everyone know, it's a 1.0, and maybe you're in 2.0 now. That was another big thing, is that when we ask ourselves, what's the path of least resistance? That was, you guys had big dreams about what this online store is going to be, and it still will be. But I said, how can you open it up to sell and make money the quickest? And so what is that on version 1.0? And y'all did that.
24 hours. Within 24 hours because of that question. We're like, boom, okay, that's it. It probably would have taken us a couple of weeks, but you, with that question, 24 hours, we're on.
And I want the listeners to hear that. What projects do you have that would make a huge impact? And do you need to give yourself permission to just hit send on version 1.0 and then come back and do the bells and the whistles and the second version or the third version? And this is actually a message that I've had to learn myself, because I can go all out and complicate things too in my own business because I have these big dreams. But when we ask ourselves, how can I serve my clients the best? What does that look like? And then give yourself the time. After you're serving your clients and making the revenue on it, now what can you do to take it to the next level? And, you know, that's where you guys are at. So you were able to pivot and adapt and move fast and to maximize the assets that you have. And I don't want to minimize that. You guys were showing up, serving your audience and your clients and your community for a long time via social media or your email list, and most certainly giving great customer service when they did come in. And so those things allowed you to pivot and have a really loyal clientele. And now we're still in the pandemic. Nobody expected it to last this long. I know I didn't. But I don't think that has changed, that you guys still have big dreams of what's next and how you're going to serve your clients and community and the impact you're going to make. So would you share with us what is next for your business and what is it that you guys are working towards creating?
So right now, it's Q4. We're in the fourth quarter. So we're looking long-term right now as we're talking. So we're working on our strategic objective over what the next 5 years will look like. And as you know us, Amber, we have a million projects in mind. So we're just trying to iron it out, see what the path of least resistance will be for our plan 5 years from now. But some projects that we really want to be able to connect on going forward is, because we've switched and transitioned to online, more online education. There's not enough in South Florida. There's not enough help for people out here. There's all these different ideas that we have that we're trying to execute on. So that's one of the reasons why we hired Santi's family member, is because he's wonderful at videos and editing. So we're creating whole courses and really just quick video tutorial anyone can go and look at to be able to learn from. That is just one of the aspects of the next things that we're working on here. Another thing that we're really excited about, the other leg, is at-home client visits. Now, we've done that throughout the last couple of years, but it's been this wibble wobble, like a balance between, oh, is there enough time in the greenhouse? Oh, let's go with this client. Oh, there's not enough time in the greenhouse. And so we're working right now to create this whole design team because we already offer amazing garden support, but to be able to go to our clients' places, be able to see their projects, be able to break it down in phases with them so we can help get them to their success they want to see, whether that's this year, next year, or 5 years, because Santiago and I have the vision of seeing the future, what it looks like, so we're able to execute it. So the big thing is improving our marketing and our engagement with our gardener base, which is all online, and then also being able to get to people's houses.
That's amazing. You know, everything that I have experienced with the two of you has been about how you can make the biggest impact and to empower your community to be self-sufficient and growing their food. And it seems like such a simple vision, and yet there are so many arms and legs because you guys are business owners, and there's so many ways to make that happen. And I am just so honored to be just a small part of this story and this journey with the two of you. I brought you on because I wanted everyone to hear you guys' stories, because I actually personally find you both very inspiring. You are really, really hard workers, and I love that you guys work so hard, both physically, but also you guys have such a business sense. You have such big goals about what it is you want to create, and watching you balance that between serving your clients here and today, and then also what you guys are creating for the future. So thank you so much for being on here on Productivity Straight Talk. If we have listeners that are in Florida, or they simply just want to know more about your business, how do they find you?
Oh, that's easy. Just type in Tree Amigos Growers. That's tree, not three. And that's Amigos with an S and Growers with an S, because we love plurals. And you can do that on Instagram. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that on Google. No matter where, you're going to find how we're going to help out. If you see our social media, you're going to see it's all just gardening tips. And we're just here to give you all the struggles Santiago and I have had over the last 10 years of managing organic farms. We've hit some major problems. Like you said at the beginning, we just lost 15,000 plants. We're here to teach you how to not make those same mistakes. And once you learn the ways that we do it, we encourage you to try different ways to improve your ways and get back to us. This isn't a one-way street. We're all gardening together. We're all here to help each other out. And so if you're down here in South Florida, it is a struggle, but we can make it super simple for you.
Awesome. Santi and Jason, thank you so much for being here today and sharing a bit of your entrepreneurial journey with my audience.
Thank you, Amber. And I just wanted to say that you're part of this beautiful community now, and we couldn't have done this, and gotten this far without you. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you, Santi.
South Florida definitely has a lot to thank you, because we would not be where we are right now if it wasn't for your support and all our productivity and management of that. So thank you, Amber. It was an honor. Even though we have so much work to do, it was such an honor for you to ask us to be guests of your show and to be able to talk with you again. And I look forward to next week when we sit down together and hash out some of the projects we're working on and make sure that we're staying focused to actually accomplish them.
That's right. Thank you, guys. I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk. And I sure hope you found my conversation with Jason and Santi and this entrepreneurial case study to be incredibly insightful and a bit inspirational. We all start somewhere. And these are some of my favorite formats of podcasting episodes because I love the journey. I love the story, the inspiration, the motivation, the hopes, and the dreams that really come out of each of us when we share our entrepreneurial journey. And a look behind the scenes, you're going to see some similarities. You're going to see similarities and challenges, and you're going to see opportunities of how they may have solved those challenges and how you can apply that to yourself. You're going to see that you are not alone, that no matter what industry you're in and how you serve your clients or make your money in your business, the one thing that I know 100% after almost a decade of being a business coach is that we have more in common than you think. And we are not separated as much as we'd like to think by industry to industry or by what type of client we serve, because what we have in common is that we are all business owners to our core, to our heart. And when we are business owners and we're chasing our dreams, we often are stumbling, falling, and having similar challenges. So if we can learn from each other through these entrepreneurial case studies, that is my hope. So I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. And as always, no change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So what is one aha or insight that you got from today's episode that you can take action on and apply to get results? So that's my straight talk for you today. Until next time, have a productive week.